Hello, everyone. It's Dr. William Mansbach. I'm the director of the BCAT Research Center. I'm here with another episode of Dear BCAT. This is a series where you ask our faculty questions. So a little context for the segment today. Recently, I participated in a small panel for a national call. The focus was primarily on mental health issues for older adults, not necessarily in long-term care, but often in long-term care. So there were a number of people who had specific questions. And at one point, there was a conversation about meaningful engagement as a way of lowering dementia-related agitation in older adults. This should be a familiar concept for you guys because programs like MemPics and others have been developed to engage older adults to non-pharmacologically reduce levels of agitation. So the question that was asked was this: why are meaningful engagement activities like MemPics helpful for lowering agitation in people with dementia? So this is from Rebecca, who is a nursing home administrator somewhere in Ohio. The traditional way of answering this question is something like this, that we all have a need for meaningful engagement. And when we are compos mentis, we are able to navigate our world. We can choose what activities are meaningful to us, where we have a sense of belonging, identity, and connection, where we can activate old memories and themes that are relevant to our roles in our life, either historically or presently. Of course, this is not the case for people who have dementia, particularly in moderate to severe stages, because they lack the executive skills, those inferior prefrontal areas that allow one to be the decider, to identify and seek activities that are meaningful. In fact, for people who have dementia, they have to rely on others to create that environment for them. Well, that's not wrong. That's a perfectly appropriate way of thinking about this, but I'd like to enhance that way of understanding just a little bit by talking about the sense of community, how important that is. All of us on the cognitive continuum, we require a sense of community, a sense of being with others. We have different individual needs about that, but certainly it's a drive state, not unlike hunger or thirst or sex or any other basic primary needs, such that when we don't have adequate amount, we suffer in some ways. If we are of any age, we might feel down or blue or depressed or bored. If we have dementia, we could have those states too, but we might actually respond to the lack of community through agitated behavior, either verbally or physically in some ways. Now, there are three traditional ways that we develop community, develop and maintain community. We move toward others, others move toward us, and we engage in our natural environment. That might mean that we go outside for a walk, we hear bird song, we're kind of communing with nature, with trees. In an urban area, you may be walking in your neighborhood. Perhaps you're not talking actively with any one person, but you feel a part of all those things. So that's all well and good, but it becomes more complicated with dementia. So to make it even more complex, community is created generally in two ways. We create it externally in the three ways that I just described: moving toward others, others moving toward us, and us actively engage in our natural environment. But we also create community and hold on to community in our minds. That might mean reminiscing about previous activities that we had with other people we care about. It might mean even anticipating. So there's an anticipatory aspect of it. I'm going to go to a dinner. I'm going to spend time with my daughter and so forth. And with dementia, those two abilities, particularly the second one, are compromised in a progressive kind of way. So dementia not only makes it difficult for us to create meaningful engagement opportunities, but it does in some ways reduce or subtract our sense of community. One reason why programs like MemPics, and there are others, are helpful in reducing agitation is that they provide, even if it's momentary, or longer than momentary, even if it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes, they help create a sense of community through the meaningful engagement of the activity, the task, if you will. So I tried to answer Rebecca's question as I'm trying to describe it here by thinking about community, and in a practical way, if we are living, or if an older adult is living by herself in the community, it is important that the people around her create a sense of community for her. If she is living in a senior living environment, the same holds true, just as it does in a SNF or a skilled nursing facility. The difficulties that we have, even pre-pandemic, but certainly during the pandemic, is to stay sensitized to the need for community and to go beyond, I'll say, just the activities department or the life enrichment department. And I don't mean just in any demeaning way. They are so important, but we need to do even more than that. We need to create opportunities for community, whether it's when we are serving people meals, when we are doing, let's say, morning care in some ways. Creating a sense of community with encounters from many different people is really critical. Well, I think that pretty much addresses that question. As always, stay connected to us. You can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn. Please continue to send in your questions so that our faculty can review them. We're here as an ongoing resource for you. Thank you very much.